In 2017, Fred Bess earned the title of farthest north producer of seeds of the endangered conifer tree, Florida Torreya. Fred lives just south of Cleveland, Ohio. He planted his first Florida Torreya on his own, a few years ahead of the first planting by Torreya Guardians. I'm Connie Barlow, and I visited Fred Bess the second autumn that he's had seed production. Fred is a professional horticulturalist and landscaper, so he has a lot to teach all of us. In these next 12 minutes, you'll see and hear the highlights of my visit with him, October 2nd, 2018. A little background first. Fred has a total of 4 Torreya trees. The 3 you see here are ones grown from seed. Planted in nearly full sun, Torreya characteristically takes on a classic Christmas tree form. 2 of the trees are male and 1 is female. Especially the female, shown here, is backed on its west side by a row of tall blue spruce trees. As you will see, that's enough shade to encourage the female to produce all its seeds on the opposite, east-facing side of the tree, in full sun. Most of those seeds are pretty low down, and all are protected by being located fairly deep within the dense-packed, sharp-needled branches. We'll also visit the single Torreya of female that was grown not from seed, but from a branchlet that had been cut and rooted. Only the 3 seed-grown trees, however, have a chance to grow tall. Look how much they've grown in just 4 years. 2014 was my first visit to Fred and his Torreya plantings. The video I took then you can watch as episode 3 in the Torreya Guardians video series. This one is episode 27. Let's begin our tour of the same trees with Fred Bess in 2018.
The 2 males and the female from Woodlanders I got in 2007 in quart-size, maybe gallon-size pots.
And so how old did they look to you then?
They were probably 2 years after germination.
Okay, so that would have made them a seed crop in like 2003?
2004 or 3.
Okay, 2003 or 4. And your first seeds on that came in 2017. So that's about 11 years?
Right.
Okay.
Which seems really short to me because a lot of conifers take years and years and years to mature.
Yes.
Like ginkgo, sometimes you can't tell the sex of a ginkgo for 25 or 30 years.
Right. And that one that's a rooted branchlet, so it'll always be a shrub. What's your best guess on how old that was? This is the first year that it's reproduced. So how long did it probably go from being a rooted branchlet to reproducing?
I got that in 2006, and I planted that in 2008 because I planted that the year before I planted the seed-grown trees. Because I figured if I was going to lose one, I wanted to lose a branch cutting and not a seed-grown. So it took 10 years from the time I planted it to produce its first seed. As you can see from the new growth this season, I had upwards of 18 inches of new growth on 2 of the 3 trees. The spring growth spurt is really fast, and the bigger the trees get, the faster and the longer the growth is. We put on 18 inches of new growth. Wow! I've also noticed during the winter on the southwest side where the wind really hits them, if the branch tips get damaged, there's a cluster of really tight new growth right beyond that damage. You can see how the dead twig is there, and so it produces this whole new growth. Same thing here and here. Dead twig in the center, ring of new growth. Wow. Yep. can see, this side looks fine, and over here where the wind gets it, you get all of these little tufts of growth.
All this little tufts of growth, right. Okay. Oh, talk about what's in this bag and does it work?
This is a deer repellent bag called Green Screen. It's made up of hot pepper, meat meal, and a few other things. And it's a really good deterrent temporarily. Once the bag, I just put these out, once the bags start getting hard, they lose their effectiveness.
Okay, but they don't do anything against the buck rub. How do you protect these?
It actually does protect them. The bucks don't like the smell, so they stay away.
You're kidding. I mean, you don't have to protect these with fencing in the buck season anymore?
I will.
Oh, you will?
I've been waiting for you to...
Oh, right, to film everything. Yeah, oh, look at this pretty one here. So this is a second wave of, this right here. So this was late summer bloom.
Yes.
Yeah.
And still getting
a little bit right there.
Mid to late May is when I saw pollen cones here. And in the spring, when I know when to look for the female cones, because the two male trees are just loaded with pollen cones. Hundreds and hundreds of them. Of course, we had a really late spring because we had a brutal early spring. We had a warm February, and then March and early April was just horrible. And the pollen cones do tend to open over about 10 days, 2 weeks. So it's not a one and done.
Mention how many seeds we got from that female, how many you had from them that female last year, and then talk about the other female where you got, this is the first year. And so talk about the seed production on those two trees.
Okay. The seed-grown female from Woodlanders produced I believe it was 7 seeds last year. I lost about half of those to rodents when they ripened. I've got the other ones here, waiting for germination. This year, I've beyond doubled that, and I've got 18 seeds on that tree, which is fantastic.
Yeah, 18.
And here, 19.
Oh yeah, 19. Okay.
The cutting-grown female, which I got on eBay, this is its first year producing seeds, and I'm going to have 4 seeds on that.
That's great.
That's exciting.
Yeah, that's very exciting. All right, Fred, so this is one of your females. Talk about why the growth form is different here.
This I got on eBay as a cutting-grown plant. I wish I knew what the provenance of it was. This is the first time this plant has fruited, and I have four fruits/seeds on it.
And it's all on this one side.
All on one side.
And here's what, looking this way, it's looking to the southeast, and this way is to the southwest, so it's more shaded on this side. Okay, yeah.
And over here, this branch was damaged by buck deer rubbing last fall. And I trimmed it off, and it sent up a really nice upright that I'm hoping will become a main leader on this tree.
Right, and this really green, we notice there's 2 growth spurts. One in the spring, and then this time, August, September is that we'll see a second. So that was a late summer growth spurt on that one that had just been deer damaged.
And I found that fortunately the fall growth has a chance to harden off before we get really inclement weather. So it hasn't been damaged by an early freeze.
Yeah, I don't see any damage on here. Yep. All right, and this was a rooted branchlet, and that's why it has a different growth form.
So these are my young little seedlings. You can see growth pattern from last year's growth and this year's growth, and I kind of expect to get another little flush yet this fall, since these have been in the greenhouse all season and kind of shaded. They haven't grown as much. Next spring I'm going to put them out and give them some sun and better tending. I can see I've had chipmunks in here probably planting acorns as well. Now, my method for germinating the seeds is after I cleaned all of the coverage, or the flesh off the seed, I put it in just a little bit of very damp soil, and I put them in a Ziploc bag, and my greenhouse stays at 45 degrees-ish in the wintertime, so they get the full range of cold and warm, and I just set them under the bench and check them every month or so, and when I start seeing a little sprout, then it's time to plant them. That works really well for a great number of things. Just put it in a bag with damp soil, in a place where it gets warm, cold, and I have really good luck with all kinds of things with that method.
Now, how many, do you get some after just one winter? Let's say there's a fall harvest. Do you get any coming up in the spring or summer after one winter, or is it two, and do you ever have to wait through like 3 or 4 winters to get germination for some?
I have had some seedlings germinate after one season in the cold. Most germinate after the second season. If they don't germinate after the second season, they're duds.
Oh, for you. So you've never had any?
I've never had anything germinate beyond 2 years.
Oh, okay.
And I really do need to get I shouldn't have left these in the greenhouse for the summer. It was just too shady under the big oak tree.
So where would you put them when you outplant them? Where are you going to put them?
They're going to probably spend one more summer in pots, and I'll probably move them up onto the deck where it's
safe.
Sunny and safe.
Yeah.
And then I'll distribute them or plant them out probably the spring of 2020, sorry.
Okay. So thank you, Fred, Bess, for showing us around your wonderful plant operation here, and for being the proud papa of second-year seeds on one of your Torreys. Farthest north seed production of Torreya taxifolia that we're aware of.
Yes.
All right. Very good.
Thanks for coming.